Hey, welcome back. Today we are diving into something completely new for the channel. Yep, I'm going to try painting some figures. We'll also take a look at what the Halot X-1 can do. The timing couldn't be better, because I need some accessories to finish my diorama. Biocrit sent me this printer for testing, claiming it's very easy to use, so let's put that to the test. The touchscreen and ports are located on top, so no need to bend over. Nice touch. But the really interesting stuff is under the hood. The resin vat has a clever pouring spout, which clumsy people like me will definitely appreciate. The locking levers also prevent the lid from closing unless the vat is secured, so I'll never forget to lock it in place. The build plate is static and doesn't require any leveling. The twist to release system should make removing models easy. Alright, let's go. The printer connects to Wi-Fi and checking for updates is quick and simple. It can also print over the network, but this time I'll go with a USB drive. All that's left is to pour the resin and start the print. What makes this printer different is that the resin vat moves together with the 16K display, while the build plate is static. This design improves stability and precision. The display only activates the areas needed for each layer, while the rest stays off, which helps reduce wear on the UV LEDs. After a few hours, the models are ready to come out, and this handy tray makes it easy. If you are curious about the printer, you'll find the link in the description. And voila, here's what I got. Ground crew for my Zero diorama. A few technicians and a pilot, some barrels, a bunch of crates and a small handcart. I couldn't resist printing these awesome carrier deck guys as well. The level of detail is really impressive. Consider this as a teaser for one of the upcoming projects. For easier handling, I mount all the figures onto cork using wire. Alright, besides the printed accessories, I also use some parts from these sets. The diorama is big and needs to be filled. Resin and plastic figures need to be assembled first, clean it up and sometimes filled where needed. This particular putty can be wiped with isopropyl alcohol, so there's no risk of damaging surrounding detail. Green stuff is great for sculpting tarps and cloth. I shape it using a silicone brush, and a bit of talcum powder helps prevent it from sticking to the tools. Time to paint. This project is perfect for testing a new airbrush. The Mobius with a 0.3mm nozzle is great for primers and varnishes. I'm also trying this acrylic primer for the first time. It sprays beautifully, doesn't smell and dries quickly. Again, the link is in the description if you are interested. I start with the wood. A nice effect can be achieved by gradually layering lighter tones over a dark base. I apply lots of thin lines to mimic wood grain. The darkest tone helps bring out the shadows and small details like nails. Metal parts start with a grey base, which makes it easier to build additional effects on top. The barrels are sprayed green, with lighter tones in the center of panels and even lighter highlights on the raised details. This barrel will sit near the aircraft. Reference photos often show barrels used as improvised work tables. Some objects get brighter colors to catch the eye, like the cloth and tools, so they stand out in an otherwise green and sandy scene. A dark wash brings out the details. I really like how it works with green. Maybe I should build something green next. I blend the excess wash with thinner. No need to be precise, a bit of dirt only helps. For non-rusty metal, a simple graphite pencil works great to simulate polished steel. I use it wherever worn metal would appear. And finally, a bit of leaked oil. Alright, time for the figures. I am not a figure painter, so I don't always know where highlights or shadows should go. But there's a quick trick. A white spray from above gives an instant guide to light and shadow. I'll be using acrylics, which work best on a matte surface. For the painting, I mix MO paints with retarder and a lot of water on a wet palette. The goal is a very thin, almost dirty water consistency applied in multiple layers. The key is not to overload the brush, you just want enough paint to leave a trace. I work on small sections to place the paint before it dries. To speed things up, I use air from the airbrush to dry the layers. The thin paint naturally looks different over the white and black, which helps create highlights and shadows. In this case, I applied about 3 layers. Then I enhance highlights with lighter tones and deepen shadows with darker ones, also running the darker tone into seams and around details. Raised areas get the lightest highlights. And now the hardest part, skin. I don't have much experience here, so I stuck with a gradual approach from dark to light. And we are getting close to the end. I have to say, I'm really happy with this printer. Even someone like me, with minimal experience, can get great results easy. 3D printing really opens up new possibilities. The only limit now is my imagination. Lately, my head's been full of ideas about what I could print next. The new airbrush performed great as well. I was missing a solid 0.3mm option. The 0.2mm on my Infinity is great, but sometimes you just need something a bit bigger, especially for primers and varnishes. So what do you think about the accessories? Let me know in the comments. Big thanks to my supporters on Patreon, you guys are awesome. If you want to see extra content, check it out there. Not everything fits into one video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.